Tell me, then. I gather it's a dangerous matter.
Life and death. If you don't want to, I'll do it myself.
If you could, lad, you'd never have come to me.
Yeah, I do feel that way as well. I'm imagining it's a massive relief for Lord John, for his son to come back to him, and I think it's a relief for William as well. You know, ultimately, John is William's dad, and the one who raised him, and the one that he's always been able to confide in. So, yeah, to kind of have that come back, even in a small sense, even when not everything is completely mended, must be a relief for both of them, because yeah, they're finally back to the, you know, normal. Yeah, William tried the diplomatic route with Lord John to see if he could, you know, politic his way into saving Jane, but yeah, that didn't work. So he went to the man of action, Mr. Jamie Fraser himself. I do think it may be the beginning of a bridge between the two characters. I do think that initially William goes to Jamie out of desperation because he feels he failed Jane, and it's his responsibility to save her. But it depends. I think there's a lot going on for William still when it comes to Jamie. I don't think he is completely you know, abandoned his identity as an English lord, and Jamie kind of represents the antithesis of that. So it'll take a lot more than just this little adventure with the two of them to make amends between the two of them. But I do think that this adventure, even though it doesn't really end well for anybody, it does prove to William that Jamie is a good person at heart, and cares. And wants to save people, and do the right thing. So I think that there's maybe a 10% mending of that relationship, but they got a long way to go. Not there in the future. That'd be another crazy thing for William to find out. I don't think he can handle that. I think we've told him enough things. You know, because his brain's already exploded now that he knows his true parentage. I think if we told him about time travel, he would not, his head would explode. So let's keep that away. But yeah, it must be a relief and a lovely feeling, especially knowing that there are people out there that maybe could relate to your story. You know, because Brianna is, you know, has a quite similar story. You know, he doesn't know this yet, but you know, she has two dads as well, and kind of lived with the impression that, you know, one father was her true father for a long time, and then upon learning about Jamie, you know, had a bit of a falling out as well with her mom and with her family. So, you know, I think when they finally meet and unite, there'll be a really lovely bonding time between the two of them, because they have a lot to they got a lot to talk about and a lot to relate to. Yeah, it must be nice to know that you have extra family out there that you didn't otherwise know you had, because you know, in William's head, both of his birth parents, you know, at least what he thought up until now, were both dead, and he didn't really have any blood relatives or family beyond his cousins. So it would be a really special thing for him to know that he had a sister. Yeah, all things we'll learn in season 8, but man, I don't think he's gonna take it well. That was it was devastating for him. I think that he felt like this was his moment to save himself and to you know, to prove to himself that he was worthy of you know, of love and of all of these things. You know, especially coming off the back of, you know, learning who his true dad is, and you know, there's a lot of turbulent feelings in William's head, it's really, really hard. This is the first time that he's felt like he's really connected with someone in a while. You know, I'm sure he had a lot of guilt about the way he handled the situation with Mrs. Hunter as well. Yeah, to get this result is obviously not ideal, and it's gonna take a massive emotional toll. William's already so sad. I want him to get a win sometime. It seems like it's never gonna happen. It's just loss, loss, loss. Oh well, eventually I think he'll figure it out. You know, maybe. Who knows? It's very nuanced. I think there's a lot of layers in that decision. I think he realizes that, yeah, there is a lot of love in that home, and I think he's always seen Claire as a motherly figure in a strange way. Um, he's always asked for guidance from her, and you know, and when he was dealing with difficult things, he went to her. You know, even when he found out about Jamie and all that, the first person he talked to was Claire, and asked all the hard questions because he trusted her. So I do think that he knows that there'll be a lot of love there, and he also knows that, you know, Jamie is someone who protects his own and protects the people that he loves, and, you know, will spring to action if there's ever danger. So on that note, I think he decided that that was the best place for Fanny to go. Yeah, on the other side, though, I'm imagining he probably has a lot of curiosity and a longing to learn about Jamie, and maybe giving Fanny over to him and Claire maybe opens the door for further communication. So yeah, I'm imagining he's gonna take a visit up to you know, Uncle, or I guess Dad Jamie and Claire and visit Fanny, and then, you know, reconnect with his birth father again. Yeah, it is a very rough thing to say. I think that conversation comes from William trying to figure out if he was truly loved as a child. He wanted to know if his parents loved each other, and he wanted to know if that was truly a bond that was special. And it, you know, he kind of gets the answer that it kind of wasn't, and that's devastating for William to hear. And I think it pushes him away from Jamie. And he, you know, there's a lot going on in William's head at the moment. So to hear that, the last thing that he would want to hear about the way that he was made and brought into this world, it pushes him away from Jamie. So I think it will take a lot of getting to know each other, and a lot of you know, reconciliation between the two of them in order to, you know, to have that proper fatherly bond. But you know what? They're talking to each other, so I'm happy about that. You know, it's all about baby steps with William. I think it might be two things for William, because obviously he doesn't know any of this information yet, but if Fanny was, yeah, Faith's daughter, AKA Claire and Jamie's granddaughter, that would also make Jane Jamie's granddaughter, which would make Jane William's half-niece. So I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just the modern day me that thinks that's absolutely gross. But you know, who knows? Maybe back in the 1700s there was a lot of, you know, cousin marriages. So maybe that was a bonus for William, that they were you know, familially connected. Yeah, so, I mean, there's that aspect of it that I'm a little bit like, damn, I hope that's not true, for William's sake. Yeah, there is a side that is, you know, it's kind of beautiful, and like this was always meant to be. And, you know, William's suffering could have been for a reason, you know, to bring family together and to, you know, strengthen that family. I would love for William to go back to the Ridge. Just to mend his heart. I want him to have a relationship with his dad, and I want that part of him to be healed. I also think that the people there are amazing. I think he'll actually, if he really opened up and was open about the relationship, you know, I think he'd love Jamie. There's so many similarities between the two of them, you know, and I think Jamie is some of the best, you know, some of the best qualities in William are the qualities he inherited from Jamie. And I think Claire is lovely, and you know, and I think William will have some great conversations with her. Yeah, the Ridge is just heaven on earth, and I think William needs to experience that. Like we said, he needs a win at some point. I think this has been a realization that maybe the Redcoats and maybe his glorified view of war and the military is not is not what it is. And he's finally disillusioned to that. And I think he was quite disillusioned to that when he saw war for the first time and how horrible and terrible it could be. But especially after losing Jane in such a horrible way and seeing the horrors that Harkness and other redcoats of the like have committed. Yeah, I think he's just quite disillusioned. I don't know if he's completely abandoned his sentiments about England and about his country and his duty to his country, but this is definitely a step back in him realizing that maybe this colonial pursuit that they're on is not all virtuous and is not all glorious. And it's a good realization. It was a bit late, mind you. There's a lot of killing and horrors that happened leading up to this, but I'm proud of him for coming to the conclusion that maybe this isn't what it was chalked up to be. I hope William, you have to love yourself before you love anyone else, but I hope William goes on that journey to love himself, and maybe find a sweetie other way. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens in season 8, but he's 2 strikes, so maybe 3rd time's a charm. Yeah, I just hope he heals his wounds, because obviously he's in a lot of inner turmoil, and that pain will take a toll on a person. But there's love around him, in the form of Jamie Fraser, and in the form of Claire and his cousins and his sister. And the guy who raised him, Lord John Grey, maybe his true dad. So I hope that he loves himself enough to open up to those people again, and then receive that love as well, because that's what it's all about at the end of the day, right?